That's correct, RJ. It was a wonderful event, and it was awesome to see how things came together and how the people came together and worked together. It was very inspiring to me to see it happen. And we had some naysayers, but I will say this, that the video feed went out on the internet. Everybody could watch it at home as it was, actually it was live. And we had great, response to that, very overwhelming positive response, very little negative response. In fact, it's being seen around the world right now. Many countries have already responded and let us know that they were just blown away by that meeting.
Yeah, the website that people were invited to view was utahrepublic.com. As these tech guys were able to put it on this website that joined the Republic just a week and a half ago, and it's just tremendous that people were able to see with their own eyes and hear with their own ears the gathering, even though those people who did not make it could see for themselves.
That's correct. We wanted to include everybody, and anybody that didn't come. There were some that probably couldn't come for many reasons, but many didn't come because they didn't want to be there, and then some of those want to complain. Well, that's up to them. As you said, there's some people just can't make happy, and if they want to be that way, that's entirely up to them. We're not going to cater to those folks. What we're going to do, we're not going to buy them a room full of toys, and we're not going to give them horse manure either. We're going to just move on, and they can come on with us or they can not. It's entirely up to them. We're going to cater to the people that want to come along and make this a positive government of, by, and for the people, and establish God's law back in this land again, in peace and prosperity to our nation and blessings to our people. And that's what we're going to do. And they're welcome to quit their complaining and whining and come on board if like. If not, they'll get left behind. And there are three kinds of people in the world. Those that make things happen, those that watch things that happen, and those that wonder what happened. And they're going to be in the wonder what happened category if they don't quit their complaining.
We'll be right back. This is RBN. It's 8 minutes after. This is the Morning Liberty program. Thanks for tuning in. Tim Turner, thanks for joining us this morning and sharing with us the details of some of the details of what transpired this weekend. You mentioned the last couple of days that you do have a plan, and I think many of us are familiar already with the plan that was disclosed on the 31st of January. Could you share some of that with us?
Yes, We've done a number of presentments to the public and to the government around the world. The first one was the declaration. Well, the declaration was sent out and approved by everyone and signed and presented on our first present was on the 30th of March. Actually, it was presented to the public prior to that to be signed by the juries, by the people of the states. And then it was presented to the government on the 30th of March. That was our original declaration. That's when we were the RAP, Restore America plan. Well, the Restore America plan basically has evolved into Restored America because we completed the task that the plan needed to complete. And we moved on into Restored America and with a government. And that government structure was completed this last weekend, and it's been a process to bring it about. There's not really a guidebook or a textbook on how do you build a government. It's a very complex thing, but God has given us very many good minds that know how to do a lot of different things and have done things in governments before. And so we brought together a very it's an absolute phenomenon what we've seen, and with a great group of people. This is a very simple plan to fix America, and it will work. It has been reviewed at the highest levels inside Washington. They even say it'll work, and we have much support. But we have the support of the majority of the people who work for the corporation, because they know that their job is in jeopardy, and they may not even have a paycheck in the very near future, because the corporation is bankrupt and insolvent, has no cash, has no collateral, has no capital, has no credibility or no credit. And a corporation in the position that the United States Corporation in Washington is in cannot survive. No, it never has been done in history, and it's not going to be done this time. They are going down.
When I'm watching these foreclosures take place, here's just one example, and this ties in, I think, to one of the promises that was made when the RAP began was foreclosures. It looks like, as you mentioned, these corporations are so bankrupt and so insolvent that they're happy to participate in stealing people's homes by an act of foreclosure. Those initial notes when the husband and wife they promised to pay for 30 years are paid off within the first 3 days. Of course, the banks know that people don't know that. And so when a foreclosure occurs, it is an act of theft. And the banks know it. And many politicians know it. And could that be a measure of funding their insolvency?
Yes, absolutely. They're stealing everything they can. They know it's going down, and they're stealing money from every aspect that they can get it. It's being transferred into private accounts across the world, and by many of your politicians are involved in these things and get big payoffs for allowing it to happen, even though they know it's unlawful and it's unconscionable to allow the people's homes to be taken away from them through a theft. But they're being done. That's the reason. That's one of many reasons that Washington is over. The people are fed up with Washington. When we stood up on the 30th of March, that was pretty much the death knell to the corporation. The bottom line is that we took away the collateral that they were working on, because the only way they could do that in this legal system that they created in Washington back in 1868 through 1871, the only way they can operate is on the consent of the people. But the people were deceived. They didn't get our proper consent, so they created a legal system where they could use what is known as your implied consent. And implied consent in the law works like this. If you don't say no, it must be okay. Well, the problem with that is that we didn't even know about it to say no. Many of the things they did to the American people were done in secret and behind the scenes, and the people had no choice to say no. And so that made it an unlawful contract because of lack of full disclosure, which is required in the law that they abide by, which is contract law today, in this legal system. So they have deceived the people and abused the people to the point that the people don't trust the government anymore. Hadn't trusted them in a long time. And I think about 80% of the people, at least between 70 and 80% of the people said they don't agree with what goes on in Washington. Well, the Declaration of Independence that was put forward by our founding fathers gives us the authority under the Almighty Creator, which is where our authority comes from, to do away with any government and establish a government that we see fit. Well, I don't think it would be any problem to prove in a court of law that the corporation United States has abused their fiduciary responsibility quite well, and we can document that in congressional records. All you have to do is pull about any congressional bill and look at the pork barrel spending and the thievery that goes on behind the scenes to prove that they have violated those fiduciary duties to the people as trustees of our wealth and our assets. They have carted trillions of dollars off into private accounts of your congressmen and done it unlawfully, and many of these people are actually going to be arrested and tried. You're going to start seeing arrests in the very near future of some of these people in the government. Some of them may even be presidents. I
think that many of us would like to see that. I was reading, as we were working on getting a hold of you and so forth, I was reading from the Communist Rules for Revolution. And one of these 9 rules, it states that they want to have us no longer trust our Congress. They don't want us to believe in our government anymore. They don't want us to believe in Washington, D.C. And I'm thinking, here we are. The Tea Party also helped to create this situation. But not trusting in government anymore is what these communists wanted to do with us. But what do we do from there? We've even got Glenn Beck, who just recently wrote a book, and he's out there pushing it, called Broke. So Glenn Beck's out there promoting his book called Broke. The system is broke, and people are saying we need a new system. But I think New Worlders would love us to take their system that they have waiting for us next, that would bring us into lockstep under a new world order. But we don't have to accept their new world order. Is it possible that in your Congress this last weekend, that this implied consent that you're talking about, is it possible that this Congress that met together this weekend took away their consent?
Absolutely. There's no question that the consent was taken away formally from the corporation. And they no longer have the ability to hypothecate on the assets of the American people. They've already put us in debt so deep that our assets are encumbered to the point that we have no assets left. The Congress has literally stolen it. And by many, I could go in for hours on the different ways that they steal from us. It's just unconscionable the way the Congress has treated the American people. And then they get up there every 4 years and tell you all the good things they do to you or for you, and want you to vote for them again. And the way I relate to Congress today is I tell the story like this: if you hired a contractor to build you a house, and he says, okay, I need $500,000 to build your house, and you write him a check on the 1st of October. The next 1st of October, he comes to you and says, well, I hadn't built your house yet, but now this year I need $600,000 to build that house. And you write him a check, and you give him $600,000. Well, the next October 1st, he comes to you and says, well, I need $700,000 this year to build your house, but I hadn't built it, but I'm going to, but I haven't built it. And you write him a check for $700,000. How long would you write a contractor checks to build you a house like that?
Well, I'd say no, thank you very much. It's time to hire another contractor. That's
right. But we have done that to the Congress for 140 years. We have given them more money every year. Every year they increase it. And yet they have not built the house that they promised. They said they were going to build a government all by and for the people. But Congress didn't do that. But they charge us every year to do it again. When are we going to catch on, folks? Washington cannot be fixed. Washington is over, and it cannot be fixed. It will never be fixed because it was created in deception from the beginning, and it will never be anything but deception. So, and I applaud Glenn Beck's efforts and the Tea Party's efforts, but they're trying to fix a boat that has a bad keel and bad timbers. It can't be fixed. It will sink. It's going to sink. And we have to be there to launch the new vessel. That's what we're doing. We have built a new vessel, and it's being launched. And the people that are on that ship can come get on our ship. And they'll be treated. We will save them. We will bring them on board. We'll treat them like brothers. We will give them forgiveness for those that have abused us, because we have a policy of peace and forgiveness. We just want to see America strong and giving back to the people, and have a government all by and for the people. And that's what we have done, and that's what we're going to do.
My mom's father, before he passed away, he was in his early 90s, and he's out of Boston. I had a chance to go back and see him, and there in the Boston area, they've been working on the highways for years and years, just like you described. And all of a sudden, it's 2 or 3 times more the price than it was. They've got this great big sign, Rome was not built in a day. If it was, we would have hired their contractor. We'll be right back. This is RPM.